Hello all my beautiful sisters from those other misters, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about the Natasha Denona Bronze Palette. I'm going to do like a really quick basic overview of my thoughts. Mostly I actually want to compare it to the Natural Nudes palette because when I was considering this, everyone was saying it's exactly the same as this, you don't need both. But this played on my mind. I ended up with both, and look, spoiler alert, if you don't want to watch this whole video, I don't blame you, because this palette is starting to get old in the beauty world with how long it's been out. I can tell you, they different, hun. They different. I'll get to swatches later, you can see for yourself. But let's do a really quick overview of this palette. So 15 pans, you've got like the matte, they call them creamy mattes, but they're just a standard matte formula. Then you've got the cream powder, which is like a cream to powder formula. There's some duochromes, metallics. I think they also have a chroma crystal formula, but from what I understand, there's none in this palette. I can confirm that this palette pulls very, very warm on the skin. So if you're not into that, don't even go there. There are a few shades in here that will help to sort of cool things down a bit, like Deep Dive and Rhodium, but they are quite dark. So, you know, there's that to keep in mind. And Palladium, although it is a warm shade and they describe it as a warm shade, it's a taupe. Taupes tend to look a bit more neutral to cool on the skin. I'm going to talk about formula, application and wear time before I do swatches, because I'm going to go straight into swatching the Natural Nudes to compare it. The eyeshadow formula is good. When I was sort of umming and ahhing about this palette, I thought historically about my experience with Natasha Denona eyeshadows, and I was a bit hesitant, to be honest. I've used some Natasha Denona eyeshadows that just aren't good. And I was like, do I really want to take the risk? I'm glad I did, because the formula is nice. Typically, eyeshadows in this type of color story are easy to get the formula right, but because I've been bitten before by Natasha Denona, I was a little bit gun shy. I'm pleased to say that the formula is good here though. To be honest, there isn't really a whole lot to say here. Every single eyeshadow in the palette has really good pigmentation, they apply well, and they blend well. What I do find interesting about this palette is that the pigmentation almost seems to be on steroids. So the mattes apply extremely rich. It's quite difficult to create an almost no makeup look, which with these types of eyeshadow colors you should theoretically be able to do. You should be able to apply the tiniest little amount to just create like shade and light variations. Especially when we look at eyeshadows like Suntan, Sundown, Ridge and Beach, they look to be sort of in that light to mid-toned area where applying just the tiniest amount of product will give an extremely subtle look. But there's something about these where the pigmentation is just so punchy. I actually find it really, really difficult to create a subtle look. The shimmers, metallics and duochromes are also really, really rich and punchy. There is no subtlety with this palette. This palette has no chill whatsoever. This is not like, you're not going to create subtle no makeup looks with this because there's too much pigmentation. They're too rich and vibrant with their nudeness, if that's even a thing that's possible. It is, trust me, it is, because I've been trying to get those really, really subtle no makeup looks with this. It's not happening. There is one thing that I would consider an issue that I've noticed with this palette. It only applies to like the metallics, duochromes, like that sort of shimmery formula. When you put them on, they're all vibrant and rich and all that jazz, but I actually find that it's not that they fade on the eye throughout the day, it's like they become sort of dull and lose their like luster, sort of. So I'm not sure what's up with that. Like, you know, it's not like they're creasing or moving or anything like that. They just start to look quite dull and not as, you know, shiny or sparkly, or, you know, duochromes are notorious for doing that, but it's not just the duochromes that it happens with. It's like all of the shimmery metallic formulas. All right, let's get into swatches. So I'm gonna start from the start. We have True Copper, then we have Suntan. Next one is Sundown. Next we have Deep Dive. This looks almost blue in the palette, but it's actually a very dark brown with the heavy purple undertones. We've got Rhodium, which also looks blue in the palette, but again, it's brown, heavy purple undertones, but it's also got like sort of lavender and blue reflect in it that makes it a duochrome. And then we have Magma. I can say these are really, really like soft in the palette. This one here, Alloy, which I just swatched, it's like a pudding. Next up we have High Degree, Alloy, and Ridge. Then we have True Bronze. This one is Gloaming, and we have Palladium. And the last three shades are Bliss, followed by Silk, and Beach. Elbow swatch, yay! Beach swatched like a piece of shit. There we go. Okay, I really want to compare swatches of this bronze palette to this Natural Nudes. I'm not going to run through all of the shade names. I'm just going to very quickly swatch. We'll get some music happening. It's going to be very difficult because I'm doing it with my non-dominant hand. Pray for me. Okay, little interruption. I'm not going to double swatch any of these because it kind of proves my point about how you can already see. Oh God, I'm running out of space. Alright, we're coming up here for the last two swatches. I can't even tell what the bloody hell I'm doing. Oh yes, out of focus, so good. Okay. Okay, so here are the two palettes, side by side. Swatched. Definitely some similar colours in the palettes. There's no denying that. But Natasha Denona focuses on bronze and colors that they believe are complementary to bronze, whereas the Natural Nudes is like the nude spectrum. So color differences and some similarities aside, the big thing that I find that sets these palettes apart is their formula. It's not that one is better than the other. They're just different. They do different things. Well, kind of. This palette does one thing. It does really intense, vibrant, rich looks with this color story, and this palette does exactly that with this color story, or it does really soft, really subtle, muted, no makeup looks. You can do both with this. So I actually preferred this. I think this is a more versatile nude palette, whereas like the bronze palette, don't get me wrong, I love it, and it's all I've been wearing since I purchased it, except one day. Just there was one day where I wore something else, but you get the point. But it's limited. It's a bronze palette. It looks like this. That's your color story, and the pigmentation is really, really intense. And if you want to do like a really, really soft look, good luck to you, hun, because it's difficult. I'm sure if you really wanted to spend the time picking up itty bitty bits of eyeshadow, you could totally do that, but I'm not about that life. Now, people argue that the Natural Nudes is similar to the bronze palette and you don't need both, but I would actually be more inclined to argue that the Natural Nudes is nothing like it. What is like it is the Huda Nude Medium and Nude Rich palettes. So if we take a quick look at the medium palette, you might be able to see some similar tones in there. No, they're not exactly the same. I might swatch this guy as well, but you can see there are some similar tones. Let's also take a little look at the Rich, because again, there are some similar tones in there that are, you know, similar. Mostly like the reds and stuff, and again you've got that sort of dark browny purple down the bottom. Oh hell, let's swatch them. Okay, I'm starting with the medium palette. I'll swatch all of the shades from the medium palette. Well, they all swatch that great. I'm not double swatching anything, I just want to sort of get on with it. Swatched great. Oh god. Look, this swatching with my left hand thing is a bit rubbish, but it's these mattes that swatch badly. It's just that they swatch badly. It is what it is. I've done a video on these. If you want to watch it, I'll try to remember to link it. But you can get a little bit of an idea how there are more color similarities with that particular palette compared to the bronze palette. And I'm not going to swatch all of the shades from the Rich palette. It applied so badly. But there are a couple that might look a little bit similar to what you would find in the bronze palette. So I would actually say if you have the Huda Nude Light, Medium and Rich, if you were one of those people like me who couldn't resist and purchased them all, don't blame you, no judgment here, hun. They're nice little palettes, I like them. I would say you have a closer color story with that little selection of palettes than you do owning this. This different, these similar. And just in case people are like, why didn't you compare the light? I didn't compare the light because they're chalk and cheese. The only color similarity is that like brownie one down here in the corner. So, you know, if you've got this is not similar. They're different. Alright guys, so that's it. Final thoughts on this. I am happy with it. I like the quality of it. I'm pleased with my purchase. I'm glad that I went ahead and made the purchase, but I am actually gonna, like, you know, I'm gonna go back to something like this. Not this exactly, but something along the lines of this type of formula where I have more control over my like day to night looks. Actually, that's a good way to put this. This is, in my opinion, a day and night palette. I can do something really soft and subtle, or I can really ramp it up. Whereas I would consider this a nighttime only palette. If you like, obviously, more vibrant and rich eye looks, then you would wear this whenever you want. But what I like to wear in my day-to-day makeup, where, let's face it, at the moment I'm just pottering around the house or going to the supermarket every now and then, I want something much more soft, much more subtle. That's kind of what I'm personally going for. But if you like the richness and you like the vibrancy and that's all you like and you never like to do soft looks, then you can go with something more along the lines of Natasha Denona. So that's it guys, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you have tried the Natasha Denona Bronze Palette, let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!